Bonjour, ciao, annyeonghaseyo, hola. How are you guys all doing today? And welcome back to the Elegant Country Mom. Today we are going to do something slightly different, and I am going to show you how I make my bread. On my Instagram, if you can follow me on Instagram, Elegant Country Mom. And anyhow, I've posted several pictures of my different bread. Anyhow, this is pretty much the typical recipe that I follow, but I have changed it a little bit. Here, I'll give you a little, I'll show you. Here is the recipe. So that was the recipe. The only thing I changed was I did not put the molasses in, and I added a 1/4 cup of wheat germ and a 1/4 cup of hemp hearts. And then of course you saw my notes on how I changed the flour to oat ratios. But other than that, it's the exact same recipe. So anyhow, this today has been so hectic. Normally I would be like punching down my bread right about now and getting it ready for the bread tins to go in the oven. I did not get it started until like 11, so it still needs to rise a little bit. But anyhow, this is what the bread mixture looks like. It is rising. I always saran wrap it. Probably can't see too much of the bread, but that's my big bread bowl. Yeah, no, that's my big bread bowl there. So I'm just gonna let it rise for a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna knead it out, punch it down, and then divvy it up into my bread tins, which are over on the counter there. Excuse the mess in the kitchen. I have been, whenever I make bread, the kitchen is always a bit of a disaster, hence the reason for the random plastic bags in the background. I had baking in them, but I'm washing them, and then I'm gonna, anyhow, they're drying. So yeah, and I will post you on more on when it comes to kneading the bread. We are back. The bread is all kneaded and all ready to go. That's my regular loaf, and then these are 2 bread tins. The long skinny tubes is what I use to put the bread in for my girls. That way they have these cute little loaves of bread that they just love. Sorry, I always pin my hair back when I bake. Anyhow, we're gonna let this rise probably for like an hour, around there, depending on, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. So we will come back when it's ready to go in the oven. Is my bread all nice and cool out of the oven and all complete. Thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry the ending is going to be really quiet. Everybody is sleeping, and yeah, that was my bread. It turned out really good. Yeah. Hi guys, I realized I hadn't really filmed a conclusion or an ending for my baking bread segment. And so yeah, no, that's how I pretty much make my bread. I do it more of the, I don't know if you call it the traditional way or the old-fashioned way, where I just basically, in a big bowl, I mix in all my dry ingredients. So I used, as you saw in the clip earlier, the recipe, I mixed all the flour, the oats, the yeast, the sugar, the salt, and then of course I added in the wheat germ and the hemp hearts, mix that all up, and then I use warm water so that it rises a bit faster, and then that way it still takes most of the day, but it's not like an overnight process. And then in case if you're wondering, I'm not sponsored or anything, but this is the cookbook I use when I make bread. Needlessly Simple. My husband got it for me when we were engaged. But yeah, no, I really, really love this book. If you're you can always check this out, or you can find your own bread cookbook. But yeah, no, I love this cookbook. I don't know, I just find it breaks down making bread in a very simple, easy way. And as a mom, I really appreciate that. But yeah, no. Here's a glimpse of the recipe one last final time. So here's the recipe. It's called Easy Oat Bread. There's my notes. That's the ratios that I do, and then I forgot to write down that I added a quarter cup of hemp hearts and a quarter cup of wheat germ. But you can do as you like, and then that's the regular recipe there. And then that. And then of course there's the little part on this page here too. It says to bake at 375 for, honestly, I bake it for 45 minutes. Yeah, no, I bake it for 45 minutes. Some days I'll bake it at 375, other days I'll bake it at 350. It all depends on your oven. But yeah, no, that's how I make my bread. And thank you guys all for watching. And just remember, follow your gut, be you, and smile. Thank you guys so much for watching. I realized this was a bit more of a, probably a chunky, not a very flowy type of baking video. My 3-year-old woke up from her nap really early, and I was not able to film, I guess, me kneading the bread dough and sticking it into the tins and all of that. So yeah, that's kind of what happened. Hashtag mom life. But thank you for sticking around, and anyhow, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.